We no longer live in a common media world, and that's the subject of today's Idea of the Day. We no longer live in a common media world, meaning our perspective of media, personal and public and national and local, is no longer common. There was a time where you'd live in a town and there would be one newspaper. There would be only a few TV or radio stations. If you go back, there were no radio stations. You just had one common forum in any given area for the sharing of information. We no longer live in that world. If you go to Facebook and you look at your newsfeed, you are going to see what Facebook thinks you want to see. Now, what that essentially means is that no matter what you're looking at, whether you're looking at Google News, Facebook, Twitter, you're only seeing the things that other people, or in most cases automated systems, think you want to see. It's even got to the point where we all seem to have our own favorite media channels, whether you're like Fox, CNN, or NPR. If you choose to get your news from any one of those three, or the network news, you're going to get a certain perspective. Whether it's conservative or liberal or something in between, that's your perspective because that's your media world, which means all the stories you're going to be reading are filtered through that. And if you're going through your Facebook newsfeed and you happen to see nothing but anti-X or pro-Y, as far as you know, that's the way the world is right now. If you're a 20-year-old, you can see a lot different stuff in your news feeds than other people would. And that's because, again, we no longer live in a common media world, which essentially means we have lost the element of surprise. When we are watching our Facebook feeds, or watching our news, or listening to our favorite radio stations, if they're a political biased station, one side or the other, again, NPR versus Fox, we are getting a slightly different, or in some cases radically different, set of perspective, which essentially reinforces a confirmation bias that we all have. As much as we like to think we have no confirmation bias, we tend to read only the stories that seem to fit our worldview. And unfortunately, that's not just an intentional process. It's actually involuntary, because as far as we know, whenever you're looking at something on Facebook or even Google and certain other things, they're giving you results based on what they think you really want. As an example, if you are a person who's into green technology, you're going to see a lot more green or ecological based stuff in your post, thinking that the whole world is either moving in one direction or another. So if let's say you are a very green person and you're seeing a lot of stuff that's about, let's say, either solar, or maybe you're seeing a lot of stuff about how there's so much anti-green stuff out there. So you're seeing stuff that's tilted towards whatever it is that we've been leaning towards, and it's done through algorithms. So algorithms are running they're controlling our minds. They're controlling what we see. The only way you're ever going to break free of that is for you to actually create a new browser profile and visit some other opposing sites, and then for a little while, a couple of days, just visit something that's against your grain. Then go onto your traditional sites in that same browser. Like, let's say you usually use Firefox, use Chrome for a while, or vice versa, or use Safari, or use Opera, or use something else. But essentially be that other person while you're on there. And you will discover that you'll be surprised by the information you're seeing. It's going to be different. Because even if you then go back to the sites and the things you usually do, you're going to see different information there because it's now profiled you as somebody else. And that's a little something to think about when next time you go out there and you are wondering how about what you're reading and whether it's really what's out there. Is it skewed? Did you skew it? No, you didn't. You somewhat led the ship that way. You kind of choose what sites you do visit and what news features you react to in your Facebook feed. And then at that point on, you just kept getting more of information that confirms whatever it is you're seeing, and you no longer started seeing the other side. There's no more surprises. You don't see anything from the other side. So if you really want to see what it's like to get information from another source, try another browser, try creating an alternate profile on Facebook, try creating alternate profiles in Google, and start seeing the world with a new set of eyes. And that's today's idea of the day. So that's it. That's today's idea of the day. Yeah, some of them are better, I gotta admit. But if you really want to see a new idea each day, some of them are going to be good, some of them are going to suck. What are you going to do? Subscribe and visit ideaoftheday.com.